Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktin Bhavatir Naistiti Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Welcome all the devotees for the daily Bhagavatam class. Today we are going to see Canto 1, Chapter 15, text number 27. 1:15:27. Yesterday we discussed about Canto 1, Chapter 15 and 25 and 26. Today we are going to discuss 27. So yesterday we discussed that the human beings are in dualities. The living entities, not only human beings, all the living entities in this material world are in dualities. How the duality in the nature also, day, night, like that. The living entities also going through the dualities like happiness, sad, like that. Okay, sometimes yesterday we discussed all this. So what is our goal? We should not affected with these dualities. We need to always untouched towards the dualities. Always we should see the good part. We always need to be happy because we are under the protection of Krishna. Okay, so we need to keep that uniqueness so that we can promote to material, promote out from the material world to spiritual world. We can promote to spiritual world. It's easy to go to spiritual world. Otherwise, until unless you are not leaving these dualities, you need to be here because here you are taking a training and Lord will give the exam. Once you pass, then only you can cross this material world. Okay. So we need to practice now onwards with consciously. That is the yesterday's one. So today, the 27th sloka, please repeat behind me. Desha kalartha yuktani Vita tapo abasmani cha Haranti samratas chittam Govinda abhihantani me. So reading the translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charna Avindya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Translation, please repeat behind me. Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead, Govinda, because they are impregnated with instructions for receiving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. So, who is telling this sentence? Are you able to recognize? Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead, because they are impregnated with the instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. Who is telling? Arjuna. Yes, Arjuna imparted. So, what knowledge imparted to Arjuna? What knowledge imparted to Arjuna? Bhagavad Gita knowledge imparted to Arjuna. So, in this sloka, Arjuna is saying that he is remembering that knowledge what Krishna imparted. So, let us see the purport. This is a little big purport. We will go by paragraph. Okay. Purport. Herein, Arjuna refers to the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, which was imparted to him by the Lord on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Lord left behind him the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita not for the benefit of Arjuna alone, but also for all time and in all lands. The Bhagavad Gita, being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the essence of all Vedic wisdom. It is nicely presented by the Lord himself for all who have very little time to go through the vast Vedic literature like the Upanishads, Puranas and Vedanta Sutras. It is put within the study of the great historical epic Mahabharata, which was especially prepared for the less intelligent class, namely the women, the laborers, and those who are worthless descendants of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and higher sections of the Vaishyas. The problem which arose in the heart of the Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra was solved by the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, again and prominence. He wanted again to remember the great teachings of Bhagavad Gita just to teach all concerned that the Bhagavad Gita can be consulted in all critical times, not only for solace from all kind of material agonies, but also for the way out of great entanglements which may embrace one in some critical hour. So, in this paragraph, Prabhupada is explaining, Arjuna here in this sloka is remembering what are the instructions provided by Krishna during the Kurukshetra war. So Prabhupada is stressing the point, whenever there is if there is a problem in our city or any civil problem or criminal problem, immediately what will be referred in the material world? We will refer the law books. The court, the vakil and the judge, they will refer the law books. What is the laws are saying? They will refer it and they will get a solution from that. Okay, if the problem is this is a punishment to this guy and this is a solution or this is a fine to go. So it is based on the problem, the solution they will get from the law book. The similar way, whatever the problems are in our material life, or spiritual life, all the solutions are there in Bhagavad Gita. So, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna unable to fight with the people, with the relatives. The opposite party is my relatives, my friends, my teachers. How can I kill them? That is his question. He has so many questions. He was hesitant to fight in that time. But when he got the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, he became charged and he started fighting. And he got the victory. So, this is not only the instructions provided by the Lord, not only for Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, it is for the entire human race. Overall, reading Bhagavad Gita, there is a benefit. And it is not only for the situation like war kind of situation. It is for any circumstances, any problems, any issues. If you want to find a solution, you can refer Bhagavad Gita. So, that is the Prabhupada is saying here in that. And also the Bhagavad Gita, it is a part of Mahabharata. Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, one of the part, in the Kurukshetra war, Krishna is imparting the knowledge. Why they added Bhagavad Gita in that? Because, why Bhagavad Gita spoken by Lord to us? Because, Bhagavad Gita spoken to us because we are all less intelligent. The Kali Yuga people are less intelligent. This is for the less intelligent people. So Prabhupada giving the example of the less intelligent class, namely woman, laborer, and those who are worthless descendants of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas and higher section of Vaishyas. So all these people are less intelligent people in this Kali Yuga. So the intelligent class is only the Brahmanas class. So not only the caste Brahmana, the Brahmanas who are really practicing really understand the Vedas and really their life also like a Brahmana. Brahmana means who understand the Brahman. That is Brahmana. He is not like I am born by Brahmana, I am working in this IT company. He is not a Brahmana. So he is coming under the category of laborer. If you are working in a company, you will come under that kind of laborer. So Brahmana means you should have the Brahmanical quality. What is the work of the Brahmana? The Brahmana's work is to give the knowledge to others. Give the knowledge to others and worshipping the Lord, spreading the spiritual culture. So that is the activities of Brahmana. If someone is doing that, he is in the position of Brahmana. But the person who is not born in the Brahmana family is doing that thing, that person can be considered as Brahmana. If a person born in Brahmana family is not doing that, then he should not be considered as a Brahmana. He is under the less intelligent class. That's what Prabhupada is explaining here. So any critical problems, any issues, we can refer Bhagavad Gita. That is the essence of this first paragraph. Let us go to the second paragraph. The merciful Lord left behind him the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita so that one can take the instruction of the Lord even when he is not visible to material eyesight. Material sense cannot have any estimation of Supreme Lord, but by his inconceivable power, the Lord can incarnate himself to the sense perception of the conditioned soul in a suitable manner through the agency of matter, which is also another form of Lord's manifestation energy. Thus, the Bhagavad Gita or any authentic scriptural sound representation of the Lord is also the incarnation of the Lord. There is no difference between the sound representation of the Lord and the Lord himself. One can derive the same benefit from the Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna did in the personal presence of the Lord. So here Prabhupada is explaining, so when Lord left this material world, he provided what he left? Because till Kali Yuga, before Kali Yuga, all the other yugas, if you read the scriptures, you can see Lord personally came to this material world. But in Kali Yuga, Lord won't come to the material world. That is because people are less intelligent. And now itself what we are saying? Some people are saying that there is no Lord. Who is saying that Krishna is just a human being? There are so many different ideas that people are coming up, mental speculations. So Lord won't appear in this Kali Yuga. So for Kali Yuga people, what is the solution? The Lord incarnated in the different forms. And also in Kali Yuga, Lord incarnated in the form of sound vibration. So that is the reason in this Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is, what is that? What is the Yuga Dharma? Harinama Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the Yuga Dharma. So when we call out of the Lord through the name, Lord will appear in front of us. We may not be able to see him personally because we are not qualified for that. But the Acharyas, they experienced, when they call out the Lord, immediately the Lord appears in front of them. They saw the Lord in front of them. So they experienced that. See, when there is a big street, in the street, some 20 houses are there. The first house, all the houses, dogs are there. If you consider all the houses, dogs are there. In the first house, there is a thief entered the first house. Then first house dark, the dog started barking. So what will happen? All the other dogs also will bark. Even though all the other dogs not seen the thief, only the first dog saw the thief. All the other dogs didn't see the thief, but still they are barking. Why? All the other dogs are confident there is some issue because the first dog, he saw something, because of that he is barking, so I also need to bark. So that the animals has the intelligence. But the human being, they are thinking that they are most intelligent than animals. They are thinking that they are five senses are there. For animals, we are having 6 senses. So we won't believe. If Acharyas are saying, if you call out the Lord will appear in front of you. You can't say, but still continue. That's the word telling by the Acharyas. But we won't believe. I'm calling Krishna. Where is Krishna? Krishna is not coming. Even the dogs has the confident faith on the other dog. But human being, we don't have the faith on you may not need to keep the faith on the other human being, because human being is not there. Always the cheating propensity will be there. But the Acharyas, who is referring the scriptures and giving the knowledge to us, they won't cheat us. Who are coming from the bona fide parampara, they won't cheat us. So we should have the faith on Acharya's words and Guru's words. Whatever the Guru is saying, definitely that is true. It may not be true, but definitely it will be true. So we should have the faith on Guru's words. So before Prabhupada leaving to America, He was along with the Gaudiya Bhatt. One of his god brother, there was a class, and that class completed by, who is the guru of Prabhupada? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. He gave the class. Prabhupada along with other god brothers, they were listening, and in the class Maharaj is explaining what he explained. Harinama Sankirtan is going to spread all over the world. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that all over the world, all the cities, all the villages is going to spread all over the world. That's the word he is explaining, he is stressing the point, and the class over. Then one of the disciple, one of the god brother of Srila Prabhupada, he is sitting and come and outside, they are discussing. What he is telling? See, maybe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told only about India. How come it will go beyond India? How the world, other religions are there, Muslims are, Christians are there, how they will accept Krishna, how they will say Harinam and all, how his name go all over the world. He may point out the world means he is thinking that 500 years back he may not aware there are outside people also, outside world also. He thought that only India is entire everything. So he thought what is entire world, the name will spread. So that's the way he is interpreting the things. Then Prabhupada coming down from the steps, and Prabhupada is saying that, see, if something words told by Acharyas, or especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it never 100% it will be going to happen. It may take some time, but definitely he said in future. But definitely in future somebody, some of his follower, maybe he may be a fool, but he following the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu words, faith, he has the faith on the words, and he will spread the glories around the world. That's what he told to. But by that time, Prabhupada also not aware he is going to go before going America. That time, during that time only Prabhupada told, someone will go, but not you. He told to that person, not you. Why? He don't have that person doesn't have the faith. He don't have the faith. Then you won't go. You are not that person. You are not the chosen person. Who has the faith, they will go. Then he came out. Later, what happened? He himself went outside of the world, all over the world, he spread the Harinam. So that is the power of Acharya's words and the Guru Parampara words. If they are telling something, that should be, it will happen. We may not have the faith, but we should have the faith on it. That's the only thing. We should have faith on the Guru's words. So let us go to the next paragraph. The faithful human being who is desirous of being liberated from the clutches of material existence can very easily take advantage of the Bhagavad Gita, and with this in view, the Lord instructed Arjuna as if Arjuna were in need of it. In Bhagavad Gita, 5 important factors of knowledge have been delineated pertaining to, what are the 5 important knowledge? Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. Ishvara, that is Supreme Lord. Jiva, the Supreme, the living being. Nature, that is Prakriti, and Kala, time, and Karma. So there are the 5 items we are getting from Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada is telling that the Supreme Lord, the living being, nature, time and space, and the process of activity. Out of these, the Supreme Lord and the living beings are qualitatively one. The difference between two has been analyzed as a difference between the whole and the part and parcel. Nature is inner matter displaying the interaction of 3 different modes, and eternal time and unlimited space are considered to be beyond the existence of the material nature. Activities of the living being are different varieties of aptitudes which can entrap or liberate the living beings without material nature. All these subject matters are concisely discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. Later, the subject matter are elaborated in the Srimad Bagavatam for future enlightenment. Out of the 5 subjects, the Supreme Lord, the living entity, nature and time and space are eternal. But the living entity, nature and time are under the direction of the Supreme Lord. who is absolute and completely independent of any other control. The Supreme Lord is a supreme controller. The material activity of the living being is beginningless, but it can be rectified by the transfer into spiritual quality. Thus, it can cease its material qualitative reactions. Both the Lord and the living entities are cognizant, and both have a sense of identification, of being conscious as a living force. But the living being, under the condition of material nature called Mahatattva, misidentifies himself as being different from the Lord. The whole scheme of Vedic wisdom is targeted to the aim of eradicating such a misconception and thus liberating the living being from the illusion of material identification. When such an illusion is eradicated by the knowledge and renunciation, the living being are responsible actors and enjoyer also. The sense of enjoyment in the Lord is real, but such a sense in the living being is a sort of wishful desire only. This difference is consciousness is the distinction of the two identities, namely the Lord and the living beings. Otherwise, there is no difference between the Lord and the living being. The living being is therefore eternally one and different simultaneously. The whole instruction of Bhagavad Gita stands on this principle. So here Prabhupada is explaining about the quality of the Lord and the living entities. So there are 5 elements we saw. We discussed in the Bhagavad Gita: the Supreme Lord, living entities, nature, time, and karma. See, these are the 5 things discussed in Bhagavad Gita. So in that, Supreme Lord and nature and living entities, time, these are all under the control of the Lord. So the Lord and the living entities, both are qualitatively, both are same. So there are many examples Prabhupada gave. The gold mine is a big, the big mountain of gold, and if you take a 1 gram of gold, both are gold only, and the qualitatively equal, but quantity is different. And similarly, the ocean, big ocean, and a drop of water. Qualitatively, the drop of water and the ocean is similar, but quantity is different. So this is the difference between the Lord and the living entity. But the living entities, we have the false identity. We are thinking that we are independent from the Lord. So we are thinking that we are this body, so we are independent from the Lord. We are trying to lord it over this material world. This is the wrong identification. That's what Prabhupada is saying there. So what is the teaching of Bhagavad Gita? To eradicate this mistake. Whatever you are thinking it is wrong, you are not independent of the Lord, you are under the control of you are not independent, you are under the control of the Lord, and you are part and parcel of the Lord. So this is the knowledge we are getting from Bhagavad Gita. So we can understand what is the relationship between Lord and us, we can understand, and we can progress in the spiritual path. So that is the knowledge we will get from Bhagavad Gita. Let us see the next paragraph. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord and the living beings are both described as Sanatana or eternal, and the Lord's abode far beyond the material sky is also described as Sanatana. The living being is invited to live in the Sanatana existence of the Lord, and the process which can help a living being to approach the Lord's abode, which the liberated activity of the soul is exhibited, is called Sanatana Dharma. One cannot, however, reach the eternal abode of the Lord without being free from the misconception of the material identification. And the Bhagavad Gita gives us the clue how to achieve this stage of perfection. The process of being liberated from the misconception of material identification is called, in different stages, fruitive activity, empiric philosophy, and devotional service up to transcendental realization. Such transcendental realization is made possible by detailing all the above items in relation with the Lord. Prescribed duties of the human being as directed in the Vedas can gradually purify the sinful minds of the conditioned soul and rise him to the stage of knowledge. The purified stage of acquiring knowledge becomes the basic of devotional service of the Lord. As long as one is engaged in the researching the solution of the problems of life, his knowledge is called jnana or purified knowledge. But on erasing the actual solution of life, one becomes situated in the devotional service of the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita begins with the problems of life by discriminating the soul from the elements of matter and proves by the reason and arguments that soul is indestructible in all circumstances and that the outer covering of matter, the body and the mind, change for another term of material existence which is full of miseries. The Bhagavad Gita is therefore meant for terminating all different types of miseries, and Arjuna took shelter of this great knowledge which had been imparted him during the Kurukshetra battle. So Prabhupada is explaining about the process. So Bhagavad Gita is giving the gradual process of understanding. Initially, if you see the initial chapters, the second chapter itself, he started with the basic, very basic knowledge. That means you are not this body, you are a spiritual soul, you are eternal. So that's what Krishna is giving the knowledge to Arjuna. So from the basic knowledge, because the living entities, they don't have knowledge. So they are thinking that once they enter this material world, they are thinking that to take care of this body is the only activity. But when we refer the scriptures, then we can understand. So our purpose of this material body in this as a human being is not just take care of this body. The thing is to get out of this material world. How to get out of this material? You need to first you need to question yourself that why I am put in this situation. What is the reason for this, for my existence here? Why I am putting in this situation? And how to come out of this situation? So these are the problems of life. What are the 4 problems of life? Birth, Janma, Mriti, Jara, Vyadi. Birth, death, old age and disease. These are the basic problems of life. So the person who is having the real concern of these things, that person is intelligent. He will get the knowledge of spiritual knowledge. Because he is thinking that not like a normal people. Normal people, what they are thinking in the outside world? Normal people, they are thinking about how can I eat, how can I sleep, the 4 things. Eating, mating and defending. They are thinking about only these 4. How to sleep, how to enjoy this material world. Beyond this, nothing they are thinking. Even though they are getting old, they are coloring, they are doing that plastic surgery, operation, this and that. They wanted to show themselves as a young person. So they can't come out beyond that. But the person who is thinking beyond this 4, why I am facing this problem? Why I am putting this situation? What is the purpose of my life? See, anybody thinking that what is the purpose of our life? Normal people, are they thinking? They just think that they are not thinking. They are thinking that eternally they are living here. They are thinking that our mentality is like that. Eternally I am living here. So I'm being here to enjoy this material world. We understand that. So what we need to think, we have very less time over here. In this material world, we have very less time. In that time, we have to utilize what Lord is saying. So it is not possible to read all the Vedas and understand and follow the things. So we need to read Bhagavad Gita. That is the essence of all the Vedic systems. If you read, if you understand, if you realize and if you apply in your life how Arjuna got the victory in the war. See, Arjuna just blindly followed the Bhagavad Gita, he got the victory. So the similar way, we can also get the victory in this material life. So what is the victory of this material life? Go back to Godhead, coming out of this birth and death. So that is the victory, getting the liberation. Not just a liberation, go back to home, back to Godhead. That is the highest perfection of life. That you will get if you read and if you apply the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, how Arjuna applied and he got victory. So there is a proved theory. It is not just a theory. Bhagavad Gita is not just a theory. All the others are, we can say theory. Darwin's told human came from monkey. It's just a theory. Yes, there is no proof at all. But Bhagavad Gita, after getting that knowledge, Arjuna, he won the war. So it is proved. So it is a proved theory. So there is no doubt in that. So we just need to blindly follow the instructions of the Lord and you can also achieve the history of the life. So in this sloka, today's sloka, we discussed about Arjuna, even though he is not in the war he got a knowledge and victory also done. But now he is, he came back from Dwaraka, and the Bhimasena and Yudhishthira, they are discussing what happened in the Dwaraka. So he was telling that Lord left from the place, and there what are the happenings. So he is telling that Arjuna, in that circumstance, he is telling, yes, if somebody around us, always with us, and he left us, then we will feel the sadness, right? Similarly, Arjuna also is sad too. So he is saying that in that situation also, he is remembering the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita so that he can come out of this sadness. So any problem, Bhagavad Gita is a solution. You can refer Bhagavad Gita for all the problems. That is the essence of this today's program. Hare Krishna. Gandharaj Srimad Bagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Any doubts? Yes, we will.